Welcome back everyone to the second installment of the Bastion tutorial series. Today we're taking a look at stables. Before we get started, you should download this practice map, and I've of course linked it in the description. Step 1. How to know the Bastion you're playing is stables. Stables always generates with 3 ramparts. The only Bastion that also has 3 ramparts is Bridge, but it looks different because the middle is wider, so 3 similarly sized ramparts, it's stables. From the front we can also identify stables. This rampart will always have these curved bridges. Furthermore, it will be aligned with everything. Whereas on a housing bastion, the rampart is out of place. So aligned rampart means stables. And of course you can also look at the amount of hoglins in the front rampart, because it's a hogland stable, so there will be hoglins. One neat little detail you can also use to identify hogland stables is if you find a triple chest like this and the distance between the chests is 2 blocks, then you know it's stables as well. Now I'm going to tell you about what this bastion actually looks like most of the time, because a lot of things in stables can generate differently depending on which stables you're at. First of all, the front rampart. We do not need to care about this for our routing, because although it can have chests and gold blocks, those are either way too inconsistent or have the wrong loot table, so we don't need to worry about the front part of stables almost ever. The back part of stables is where it gets interesting, because it can either generate a triple chest, which looks like this and has 3 chests at the top, a double chest or lantern chest rampart, which has 2 chests, 1 at the top and 1 further down below, or a single chest rampart, which has no chest at the top, only 1 at the bottom. A neat little trick to remember how many chests a rampart has is that the tallest rampart has the most amount of chests, while the shortest rampart has the least amount. So it would be 1 chest, 2 chests, 3 chests. This helps you to identify which rampart you're looking at, even from the back. And of course these pillars always hint towards a triple chest. Right then, one more quick note, sometimes you need to check multiple chests to get all of your obsidian in your speedrun. So how do you find all of the chests? For the triple chest rampart, it's the easiest, because it has all 3 chests up top and we don't need to worry about anything below. For the double chest rampart, we have 1 chest at the top, which is similar to the triple chest, and another chest at the bottom. Now there's multiple ways to get the other chest. One option would be to dig down next to the top chest. And if you just keep digging down, you will land breaking a lantern, which is why it's called the lantern chest. Once you're down here, take a left, and this is where your second chest will be. But this second chest is also exposed from the front if you enter the bastion through the stables rampart. So you can just loot it like this. And if you see this bottom chest exposed like this from the front, you already know this middle rampart is a double chest in this case. Now for the single chest, similarly, if we enter from the front, we can enter this tunnel and go back here to find the chest. Or if we enter from the back, we can immediately see it like this. Okay, so this is how to find each of the chests in the top sections. Let's move on with the bottom sections, because this is actually very important. The bottom section can either have a lot of gold blocks or just a puny chest. And we want to have a lot of gold blocks. And you can see this by, for example, looking at this gap right here. If this gap is 1 block wide, it's a good gap. But if it looks like this over here, where the gap is 2 blocks wide, it is called a bad gap. Because this will only have chests, whereas the other side will have gold blocks. And there's always these 2 bottom ramparts, which can either be a good or bad gap. So this would be a left bad gap, because it's on the left, looking at it from the front. And a right good gap, because it's on the right, looking at it from the front. The middle rampart, however, cannot have a gap. This is because it always has this staircase going down here, where you can access both of the gaps. So see this as more of your entry point. A lot of the time though, the gap will be covered by terrain, which means in this case I couldn't directly see if this is a good or a bad gap. But it can be easily checked. Let me show you how. If you go to the entrance point, in the middle rampart of the bastion, you can go down here, take a left, and break this block. Now, if there's a wall like this, we know it is bad gap. But I'll show you how it looks if it's good gap. As you can see on good gap, there's an opening behind this. On bad gap, which we have right now, there is not. And similarly on the other side, on the right side, if we go down the stairs, there's also things that we can use to identify if there's a good or a bad gap. The first one is, right here, if we tower up twice, so basically one block next to this crevice here, or 2 blocks rather, if we break this block and we see through it, again, it's a good gap. If it's blocked off, it's a bad gap. Besides digging up here, we can also use the wall beside it to identify whether it's good or a bad gap. In this case, it is a good gap, because I cannot see a cracked stone brick like this. On a bad gap, it would look like this. And now, before we get into the routes, one more quick thing. If we come down the stairs to our right side, and then go down another set of stairs, there will be one more chest at the bottom. So to summarize, Stables always has 3 ramparts, either a triple chest, double chest or single chest. And then at the bottom, on either side, it either has a bad gap or a good gap. And we largely care about the good gap. And the last thing is, we have one more chest all the way down the stairs. Now, I would recommend practicing this. I'll pause and you can try doing it on your own. The solution would be a double triple, single double, right side good gap, left side bad gap, Stables. Now let's get into routing the Bastion. Now I'll quickly explain how to do the most basic route of Stables, which is a gap route. A gap route is just simply trading with piglins in the good part of the Bastion. So first of all, we have to find whether our left side or our right side is a good gap. So we go down here, break this block, and we can see since it's open, the left side is a good gap. So we would continue in here. Alternatively, if this is a bad gap, we can go down the stairs and then continue on the right side. But for now, I'll go onto the left rampart, because the routes are pretty similar. So we want to make our way downstairs inside the good gap. And then once we pass this section, we want to place 3 blocks behind us. 1, 2, 3. This will stop the piglins from coming down initially and allows us to prepare our trading hall, which we'll do by placing these 4 blocks and then breaking this one. And where exactly the gold is, I won't go over here because you will see it in the route showcase. So let me show you how to do a gap route. And that is it for the simple gap routes. And the next route we will be covering is called Triple the Gap. And as you might be able to tell from the name, is you start at the triple chest in that route and make your way through the Bastion down into the good gap, where you then continue trading. So, this is how to do Triple the Gap. Now, if you're trying to start a triple the gap route, but you don't actually know if the rampart below you is a good gap or a bad gap, here's how to identify that. First of all, we do the route as normal. I'm going to skip over a few parts here. And then once you dig in this spot and you fall down here, you can look at this. If right here there is a hole, then this rampart will be a bad gap. And we better get the hell out of here. If after we've dug down it is closed off like this, however, then it will be a good gap and we can continue the route as normal. If you do the route on a middle triple, just normally, I'm again going to skip over a few parts here. And once you're down here, you can just go outside and around the corner like this, and that will bring you to your normal middle rampart entry point, which means from here on out you can play it like a normal gap. So check, okay, left side is a good gap, then we go into the left side and we play the gap as normal. If not, we can go down the stairs and play the right gap as normal. Let me show you how to do that. To do if you try to do a triple the gap route, but you find out that your side is a bad gap and you need to go over to the other side. We call this a disconnected triple the gap. There are specific routes for this, but I'll just show you what to do, which will work fine most of the time, because this is a pretty rare scenario. So let's just say I'm doing triple the gap on the right side. I'm gonna skip over mining the gold here and just continue on. And then once I go down here, I see, oh, this is a bad gap because there's a hole right here. The first step is to get out of the bastion. So go 180 degrees, turn around, and then keep dropping gold along the way because there will be many piglins following you. Now, once you're here, you have a couple of options. If the terrain allows it, we can lead the pigs over to the middle entry point and then go into the left gap from there on out. And similarly, if we have the same problem on the left side, then we can also go out here and try to route it through this, down the stairs, and then into the right gap. Because going outside is always the safer option, then you won't need to remember anything else. Alright, that is it for triple the gap shenanigans. The last route we will be taking a look at is just called double triple, which means we don't play a gap at all, instead we just play the double triple 8 gold blocks. This route is very fast, but it's also not very consistent because you don't have many gold blocks, so only go for this if you know what you're doing. We can do the start of a triple the gap by digging down here, looting the chests, and then going down to these 8 gold blocks. Once we're down here at the gold blocks, we can block ourselves in immediately and then dig in. And then, before we mine the gold blocks, we also mine out this hole, which is where our piglins will be trading. Then we can mine the gold blocks as normal, let the piglins fall in, go around, and then continue on to the next triple. Now if the triples are next to each other like this, it's usually best, but the triple can also be over here, which just means you have to go over there, get the gold, and bring it back to your piglins. But if they're connected, like in this case, what we can do, from our trading hole, we can just dig straight, and that will bring us, if we just keep going straight, to the next triple, because we can mine the gold blocks either up here or down here like before. Let me show you how to do double triple. And that is it, now we're done. That's everything you need to know about the Stables Bastion. If I've missed anything, make sure to let me know. But have fun speedrunning, and until then, see ya.